Hello everyone and welcome to day 241 of Project 365. So, I'm convinced at this point that my math teacher is either extremely psychotic or extremely delusional, and I'm not sure which one it is yet, but I'm leaning towards psychotic. In his class, we discuss no math. And I literally mean no math. Like, there's nothing math related except possibly the fact that we were discussing Stephen Hawking and Einstein. But in terms of calculations and things like that, not so much. Um, in fact, I've missed like 2 or 3 days of that class straight, and I've missed nothing. Which is kind of depressing, really, because you kind of go to a math class to learn math, not to listen to a teacher's crackpot theories about different things. Like today. Today, for example, he kind of pissed me off because he was ranting about how Stephen Hawking was essentially trying to break down and squash people's beliefs with his new book, The Grand Design. Now, I don't think that's necessarily the case, simply because of the fact that he's saying that a God wasn't necessary for the creation of the universe doesn't mean he's trying to eliminate belief. He's merely trying to provide an intellectually honest opposition to the more commonly held ideology. He's simply providing an alternative. He's not saying that a God doesn't exist. He's saying that a God necessarily doesn't have to exist. Uh, and so I think there's a huge difference in that because he's not trying to end people's hopes. He's not trying to destroy people's beliefs. He's simply providing an intellectually honest alternative to what's most commonly accepted. And I applaud Mr. Stephen Hawking for doing this because, quite frankly, I'm getting sick and tired of this idea that there is a guiding hand through the creation of the universe and the creation of life. Um, Anyone who studies abiogenesis and things like this know that that isn't necessarily the case, but nonetheless. And then he's somehow branched off into a few other topics like Kiss and the SS, philosophy, and then he talked about this guy who's a police officer who ended up arresting his daughter's boyfriend and like handcuffing him and everything else to get him to stay away from his daughter. And so my entire mindset of listening to all of this dribble was, what does this have to do with math? And why am I in this class if I'm not here to learn math? Now, I'm not complaining that, well, actually, I guess I am complaining, but I'm not really too upset about the fact that we're not covering math, but I am upset that this guy is constantly pushing forward these affirmative claims without any actual evidence and simply expects us to accept it wholeheartedly without question. Um, so, yeah, it's mildly frustrating to say the least. My question for you guys is, what's the most ranty teacher you've ever had? This is definitely by far the worst one I've ever had, and it's kind of awkward. But hopefully it gets better. And yeah, so that's it for today, guys. I'll see you guys tomorrow.